Hi, Spots and Cheap Pops. You're on the air.
We have waited all year for this moment. WrestleMania 40. Will the final boss and Roman Reigns end the story once and for all? Or will Cody Rhodes finally finish his story? Ladies and gentlemen, it's High Spots and Cheap Pops, Silicon Steve Valley. We're with Vladi Dottie, and we have a WrestleMania preview show. And we are very excited to have you guys with us. Vladi Dottie, are you excited for the 40th edition of WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all, the granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the immortals? Am I missing any?
No, I think you covered all the important ones at the very least. So I'm definitely excited. Yeah, man, and I'm definitely excited about this. It's always it's Shangri-La for the wrestling fan. You know, globally speaking, this is a high travel event, man, and locally speaking, this might as well be the Super Bowl. So it's a big deal to say it lightly, if you will.
And you see the media coverage and everything. I mean, ESPN's has been covering WWE for a while, but the media coverage professional wrestling is getting now is unlike anything we've ever seen before. Yeah. And that's because it's much more popular now. And it's a great time in professional wrestling. This is Triple H's second full-blown WrestleMania, even though Vince still had his disgusting perverted little fingers all over it last year. So we'll see what happens. This is all Triple H's show. And I'm excited. Are you ready to get down to it? The Purple Nurple is on the line. You are a reigning champion. You beat me in a comeback fashion. Our last quarter, I think I had a 3-match lead. You came back and took me out and made me a bitch to reclaim the Purple Nurple, the greatest Purple Nurple champion of all time, which is, of course, Vladi Dottie. Held it for a year. And it was beautiful and around my waist for a hot second, but I got to get it back. And I have one opportunity to do it right here, WrestleMania. Are you ready, Vladi?
I'm ready, man.
So, we're off.
All right. So let's start off, of course, with Saturday night. And the first match I'll bring your way is the Women's World Championship match. Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley.
Tony Storm.
You are fascinated.
Rhea Ripley is going to retain, especially Becky Lynch with the contract issue looming. Just mentioned in an interview that once her daughter starts kindergarten, which is only a year or two away, the constant traveling is done. But she said when she starts going to school. But I think the writing is on the wall. Also, Rhea Ripley has been absolutely dominant. They have a built-in protection for Becky because she has wrestled so much more than Rhea has. So I think Rhea Ripley wins. I think it's going to be one of the best women matches of all time. And I think it's opening the show by what Dave Meltzer says. So good for them. And I go Rhea.
All right. Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I agree completely. I'm going with Rhea. And truthfully, this could be one of the greatest women matches ever. And it's not, nobody should take this match lightly. I know Rhea and Charlotte worked magic last year. And I'm not saying, it's going to be beating that. However, Becky will definitely hold her own, and it'll be a good match. But I'm with you, Rhea Ripley with the win.
Yeah, she's the mommy, and mommy is always on top. Holla.
Holla is right. Next, I bring you this feud of feuds. Nothing really quite shoehorned here. We have none other than Rey Mysterio Jr. and Dragon Lee of the LWO versus Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar.
I battled with this one, to be honest with you, a little bit. Dragon Lee's first WrestleMania, what have you, but I think it's Santos Escobar's first WrestleMania as well. I'm starting to think that Dominic has something cooking with the La Facción El Fantasma, and I think there's something going on there. He was a little shady with Judgment Day. Something's going to happen devious and nefarious. We're going to have Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar beating that deadbeat son of a bitch, Rey Mysterio, and, well, whoever. Whatever.
I mean, in terms of fatherhood, Dominic doesn't hold the candle to Christian. I'm willing to say that.
Neither does Rey.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Ray is the father, actually.
Okay.
The worst father. I should have. As I was just writing down Dominic as you said your pick, but I agree with you. This is a match where I think Ray will look back on it, and who's a legend, a Hall of Famer, et cetera, et cetera. And he put his own son over at WrestleMania, and storyline wise, whatever's being conjured up here by Dominic, it's a fart in the wind if he loses, is my opinion. So I think it makes all the sense in the world for Dominic to get the heat at WrestleMania. He'll be booed relentlessly. It'll add something to this after, this will be the branching off of another storyline. And that's that, because I think there's some things that are brewing here with the Judgment Day.
100%.
So that's part of this. So,
100%.
There.
A lot of dissension in the Judgment Day. We don't know why, but there was dissension. There was miscommunication. You trying to tell me something? Are you trying to tell me something? Who's the leader? Judgment Day, Put this thing out in the back of the shed and knock it out, because it's an overrated faction that hasn't garnered any real big stars with the exception of Rhea Ripley. People may argue with me about Damian Priest. Look, no one's going to convince me Damian Priest should have that briefcase over LA Knight. Still, 7-8 months later.
Yeah, you're not going to get an argument from me there. And also, I got to say this. I like, and here's the double-edged sword for me with Judgment Day. I actually like the idea of a faction being led by a strong woman like Rhea Ripley. But if she had a little bit more, like, I don't know, I don't want to say talent, but like a little bit something different, maybe a little bit more oomph, if you will, where like
Rhea.
this, like Rhea and say maybe even a Drew McIntyre, where it's not like one is over the other, but they're actually sort of equals. And I'm not even saying that it has to be romantically inclined, because they sort of avoided this short of the weird Dominic part of this with Rhea that seems like they're insinuating over and over. Of course, that's part of the fun here. But yeah, like I love the idea of her being the leader of a faction, but and again, I don't think they struck out on this, but it sort of fell flat overall. And I think we're seeing the genesis of this faction now.
I think we're going to see Dominic start something over the long term with I forget her name and I apologize, the female in La Facción del Fantasma, whoever
Electra.
she is. Yeah, Carmen Electra. Loved her when I was a kid.
Yep, she hasn't aged a day.
I have a feeling that she's going to be kind of a situation. You're going to have Rhea and that young lady kind of go at it once Dominic picks the La Facción del Fantasma.
Arriba.
But I don't. So, but this match is the one match I definitely don't give a flying crap about. I'm not going to lie. I don't care. I'm sure it'll be great. But if you're an AEW fan, Vladi, Dragon Lee's not as special as he is in WWE. He's really special in WWE. Over in AEW, they got so many.
Yeah, and it's
watered down.
So many, and then there's it's so many luchadors there, and they all have their few moves that they sort of separate themselves from, and but. It is a bit oversaturated there, actually, if we're going to be honest.
Bobby Heenan said all you got to do is pay 2 or 4 of them and just have them wear different masks since they don't talk anyway. Fucking Bobby Heenan, man. just change the masks. I saw a really nice interview in 2002 with Bobby shortly after WCW got put down. And Bobby did put full blame on Eric Bischoff and Dr. Harvey Schiller for WCW's demise. So just so everyone knows, Bischoff is a culprit.
Yeah. Let's see. From there, let's move on to the Intercontinental Championship match. We got Sami Zayn, the challenger, being led by Chad Gable as a coach or whatever he is at this moment for him, against none other than the Ring General, Gunther.
You know what? I think I screwed up. I think I initially took Gunther, but I changed and I think I put Sami in my picks. Can we double check that? Sorry about that.
Why is that? So
well, whatever I sent you is what we're going with, and I don't want to say Gunther. Why did I pick? Because I wasn't sure. This Sami thing was kind of shoehorned as well, and I could see Chad Gable. See, he's so loved. I don't think he would be the one that turns heel, but I don't know. Why would Chad Gable care so much about beating Gunther like he's Seth Rollins and
Yeah. For
Roman?
number four here you have Sammy.
Yeah, so I obviously went with Sammy. If I could have my druthers, I would probably go Gunther. But yeah, let's see what happens. Sammy, I think another scenario is Sammy beats Gunther and then Priest cashes in and gets the Intercontinental title. So that was, I think, the way I was going. I think I screwed up there. If you pick Gunther, then we're in good shape. But I'm not sure. I went with Sammy.
Yeah, I did pick Gunther.
It's fucking asshole.
Yeah. So
Unbelievable.
yeah, I don't think Sammy I don't think Sammy wins, and I almost feel like he would get booed if he won at this point.
That's the thing. It just wasn't a well put together story. The fans aren't behind Sammy like they were a year ago. I choked. I changed my pick right before I sent it. And look at hey, maybe I get lucky. Maybe Sammy does win by some chance. But with all the titles that I think might be changing hands, I think that was the reason I initially went with Gunther. And right now, it's one of those things. I made a mistake, and we know once you send it, you can't change your pick. So, but unofficially, I picked Gunther.
I got you. You'll be rooting for Gunther at the least.
I'm going to be rooting for Sammy. I like to win. I want the purple.
Okay, right. There you go.
Yeah.
Since we're in the city of brotherly love with WrestleMania 40, why don't we take a look at none other than Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso? Their first time wrestling each other, right, in singles competition.
Yeah. Yeet.
Yeet, and it is Yeet versus no Yeet. So this match has some good potential, man. This might sort of suck the crowd into like a good place. And honestly, when Jay comes out there, the place is rocking.
Yeah, and they're gonna probably hug it out at the end of the match. There were some little feels here and there. They still very much care about each other. Even Solo even mentioned now, Jay, I miss you, but I got to do what I got to do. He said something this past week. So, look, the only problem with this match, I think the emotion's going to be great. It's similar to Cody and Dustin. You knew Cody was going to beat Dustin Rhodes in All In. Yeah. And I'm sorry, at Double or Nothing in 2019. First pay-per-view in AEW. You knew Cody was going to win. There's no way Cody wasn't going to win. Same thing here. Jey Uso's winning this match. No doubt about it. Absolutely. And it's going to be more about the story and the brotherhood opposed to who wins. But Jey Uso's the main event. He's the guy that's headlining, getting the championships, getting the headline main event matches, where Jimmy is still kind of goofy old Jimmy. He's kind of like if you look at the bloodline, if you remember in Lion King when they had the 3 hyenas and the one was really stupid. Jimmy's like the really stupid hyena out of the group.
Yeah.
You got like Whoopi Goldberg, the other guy, and then you have Dummy, which I believe
Cheech.
Cheech was Cheech the dummy, or was he the other smart one? I think he was the other smart one.
Yeah, he was the other smart one. Yeah.
So Solo's Cheech, Whoopi Goldberg is Roman, and then the dumb one, and I don't know who it was, the dumb one's Jimmy. The best example of that was when they were walking in, like all pissed off. Everyone was pissed. And Jimmy's like,
he's just happy to be there with the bloodline.
It's amazing. And Jimmy, I thought he was going to be a little bit more nefarious, especially with the way he kind of turned on Roman. I don't like the way Jimmy's been booked because he was the reason that Jay turned on the bloodline to begin with. It was Jimmy who did the turn. And that's been a little bit of a storyline issue with this particular one. Even in a recent promo, Jimmy had said, you picked you left the bloodline. No, dude, you super kicked Roman Reigns for your brother. You had his back. You pushed him out of the way and you super kicked Roman Reigns. But that hasn't been addressed. So that's taken a little bit away from me. And frankly, I love Jimmy. I want Jimmy to win, but Jey Uso's definitely winning.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jey Uso with the win, and I don't believe Jimmy's revisionist history either. So, Jey all the way.
And why didn't Jay correct him when he said that? That was the other part. Like, dude, I was still being a good soldier, and you kicked the tribal chief.
Yeah, Oos.
Booty.
How high are you, Oos?
Not high enough.
So what are we looking at here? We're looking at the 6-pack challenge ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. And listen to this roll call of teams.
God forbid we get a really great tag team match like we did last year. God forbid. Or in
I
WrestleMania
agree.
2 with the British Bulldogs and the Dream Team.
Yeah, and that would be appropriate. We have DIY with Gargano and Ciampa. We have Awesome Truth with The Miz and R-Truth. We have New Day with Kofi and Xavier. Then we have the New Catch Republic, which I believe is Pete Dunne and Tyler
Bates.
with the Bates.
Tyler
yeah,
Bates.
you know, I wanted to call him Tyler Yates, who I think was a QB or an NFL player.
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah, that's what was confusing me. So Tyler Bates. And then we also have probably one of your favorite tag teams ever, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. And we're going to end off with the champions there with Finn Balor and Damian Priest. So all these guys are going to have, all these teams are going to have a ladder match to be, I guess, the undisputed tag team champs. And if you want me to lead off, I will put it out there. We got the Awesome Truth. I believe this is R-Truth's WrestleMania moment. I think the place will go nuts. I think this is one of those things like when R-Truth does make the Hall of Fame, because I have zero doubt that he will make it. And just based on the speech alone, and to be able to show this highlight, it writes itself. So this is the opportunity to give it to him, and it's going to be a cool moment.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they foreshadowed R-Truth hasn't won a WrestleMania. He's got the most momentum. In fact, out of all the teams, they're the only team with any momentum right now, to be truthful. And they're the only ones with any decent storylines going on. They kind of brought DIY to make Regeneration X and all that other kind of crazy shit. But what they have done to the tag team division going into WrestleMania, I'm very disappointed in. Wanted a real good tag match, maybe be a three-way with the most. This is just going to be a train wreck, 12 guys jumping all over the place. And they're only probably only going to have about 15 or 20 minutes to get it done too. It's not going to get a ton of time considering how low it is on the totem pole in terms of matches. So I'm disappointed with it, but R-Truth does win. R-Truth and that other guy wins. Whatever.
So
I don't care about him.
Let's go on to the next match where we have a debut, a special one here actually.
Ooh.
And Jade Cargill from AEW fame, a huge free agent signing by Triple H.
And that bitch
is making her WrestleMania debut, and Triple H is a genius in this way. He is aligning her with one of the best wrestlers on the planet, Bianca Belair, and also Naomi. And they are going against Damage Control. Which, again, to go back to your point of tag team championship matches, this is one that they have a talented tag team, and they sort of didn't go for it here. A little weird, but we get Jade. So if you don't mind, I'll just put it out there. I chose Jade, Bianca, and Naomi.
Yeah, I mean, Jade Cargill is not losing her first match.
No.
She might drop Bianca and Naomi after the match, but she's not losing.
Yeah. That seems like it could be the case. But yeah, I don't disagree. And which leads us to the main event here. Incredible build here. And with the last boss, this version of The Rock that
final boss, bud. Come on.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Start using your hashtags, boss. Brother.
The final boss here, and Roman Reigns, who's become almost an afterthought to this weekend,
for sure,
against Seth freaking Rollins and Cody Rhodes. And what's at stake here? If The Rock and Roman win, then the following main event night with the World Championship on the line is Bloodline rules. If not, if Seth and Cody wins, then Cody gets him in without any interference from the Bloodline. So,
which anytime that's been said before, that never happened, right?
Right. Yeah, they're going to abide by that.
Yeah, sure. No, I think everyone knows what's the point of even having the threat of Bloodline rules unless they're going to have Bloodline rules.
Right.
So Seth Rollins and Cody are going to lose. I'm not sure if anyone's going to turn. There's rumors of Seth turning. I don't think that happens because, again, you want Drew McIntyre having as much heat as possible. And if he's getting cheered on Sunday because Seth turned on Cody, I think that plays against what they're trying to do business-wise when CM Punk and Drew McIntyre finally get to it. So I think the Bloodline, Rock and Roman, win the main event in night 1, April 6, 2024.
I'm right there with you. Rock and Roman wins. It's going to be I think they're going to do something here to both of them to go and have the whole just outlook looking grim for both of them the following day. And I wouldn't be surprised even if Drew McIntyre gets involved with this with a little bit of foreshadowing with the Paul Heyman thing because it benefits him.
It does, but he also has, it's weird. He's hypocritical, but he's not crazy hypocritical. Don't forget, after they had that little meeting, Drew McIntyre played a very significant role in the beatdown of Cody with The Rock. Drew McIntyre came down. That could be what they're talking about. I think Drew has been very, very clear. He doesn't want the Bloodline involved. But hey, if you want to get him more heat, have him completely do it and have a good reason. The problem is that his character, for me, there's reasoning behind what he's saying. Similar, as we said, when CM Punk is a heel. He makes sense. It's like you don't really appreciate what he's doing, but what he's saying makes a ton of sense, and you could see his point. I think that would be too far away from what Drew's trying to pull off. I think, but then again, you want a lot of heat on Drew, so that's possible for sure. But I have a feeling, of course, I'm a Drew fan, so I want him to be a little more reputable in his win. Mm-hmm. He might come down on Saturday night, but I think it's going to be a one-on-one match on Sunday for sure.
Yeah, and then which is a good segue.
What's the first match of the next night, Vladi?
The first match of the next night is going to be none other than Seth freaking Rollins, the champion.
And this is all
versus Drew McIntyre. Yeah, versus Drew McIntyre with special guest announcer CM Punk.
I'm surprised that they have gone that way with I forget what I was going to say. Holy shit. I forget what I was. That's why I fucking try to get it out when I do, because I'll fucking forget it. So never mind. Yeah.
That's all right. So you got Punk, who's going to be announcing McIntyre versus Rollins. And honestly, this match could be one of those that could steal the show. These guys are so good at what they do, both of them. In the ring, like this is like even like the size of McIntyre versus the agility of Rollins. And I could see these guys really stepping up their game for this. And then with that being said, I think you're going to see a change in the title here. I think Drew is going to get his WrestleMania moment in front of the crowd and win the title. So, and I think part of it's going to be played into that, Seth was banged up for the night before helping Cody, and it might, he looks injured, whatever, the knee, the back, whatever it might be. So
I think he's going to give a beat down to Seth, though, so where it looks like Seth will be done for the night, and maybe Seth comes back later on. But I'm with you. I think Drew McIntyre wins, and he deserves it. He was kind of struggling to find his place as a babyface late last year. And then when this heel turn started, he's just taken a whole nother world and totally rose to a completely higher level than he had ever been before. So I'm with you too, Drew, for sure.
Okay, and I got to just share with you, and this is something I'm going to say, and I hope it does not happen, because I don't want to be in this overbooked hell. What I'm worried about is with Punk being there, that he gets involved, and after the match hits Drew with a GTS, and then outruns Damian Priest, and cashes in. I really hope that doesn't happen.
It could. I don't think it would. But then again, you have your tag match the night before. So I don't think Damian Priest cashes in at WrestleMania. I don't think he's given that moment. That's Legends, and he hasn't earned that yet.
No, I get it. I agree with the whole legend part of it. But one of the things that has happened, and you and I have been pretty critical of it, what has it meant to have that briefcase in recent time, right? So how do you put it back on the map? You give somebody that moment. And the only reason I'm saying this is one of the biggest upsets that Roman had during this reign of his was when he beat McIntyre in the United Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And they are going back to Scotland, Glasgow, Scotland this year, and and it's pretty much already advertising for it. So I'd say it's
Clash of the Castle in Glasgow.
So if he wins it at WrestleMania, loses it because Punk interferes, then he has the opportunity to go beat Damian Priest for it in Glasgow. If he, they knew that this is probably in the plan. That's the only way I could see them agreeing to that. But I'd rather just see McIntyre win it. But that's one of the reasons I thought of it, just to put more of a nicer shine on that briefcase, which it hasn't had it in a long time. So how do you reestablish it? That's my only thinking there. But I hope it doesn't happen, is what I'm saying.
This is how you reestablish it. You put it on somebody who deserves it and who the crowd wants to get behind. That's how you reestablish it. If they do that with Priest, that's not going to help. It's not going to put more shine on it. They might think it does, to your point, and it's something I would be concerned with too. Yeah. But I don't think this happens with Damian Priest. Also, again, it makes McIntyre a little bit of a sympathetic character. And you don't want that. You want him to have as much heat as possible when Punk comes back. And lastly, Punk's still rocking that arm guard. I don't think he's willing to get physical with in any situation. I know he was in the ring last week, but he stayed full clear of any kind of physicality. So I don't think Punk risks any kind of physicality, particularly at GTS where you do have to use your arm. I don't think that gets it in there. So I appreciate your concern, but I doubt it. I really would doubt it. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants Damian Priest cashing in on anybody except for maybe an Intercontinental Champion.
Right. So a little bit of a segue from that idea of who should have had the Money in the Bank. We have the next match is none other than Mr. LA Knight against AJ Styles.
Yeah. Yeah, I think LA Knight wins. I think obviously his star is the one that's rising now, and AJ Styles is there to put people over at this particular point in time. It's a big match for AJ, though. He hasn't had one of those classic, amazing AJ Styles matches in a minute, and LA Knight hasn't had a classic match. So this is a very interesting match that we might not care about as much as we'd like to, but it's important for either one of them to show that they still can go, or show they can go, period. So, but with that, LA Knight, the stars rising on him, and I think you'll see some gold, hopefully, finally, in the next couple months.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with LA Knight as well.
Yeah.
They put one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet with him to have this moment. So I think it should be a good. And like we've compared LA Knight to Stone Cold in some ways in terms of like the way his matches go. A bit of a brawling. He hits a couple of good moves. Like what Stone Cold would do, but then he has that one finisher, which they're kind of getting over now with LA Knight. And you know what? Like, I think AJ is going to be incredible. And he's going to want to like leave his legacy and have that match on there as well. And, AJ's got, how can I put this? It's like, I'm a little confused by him because he's one of the greatest workers on the planet. The fans like him, but they just haven't figured out. And he's like in this like Bullet Club limbo thing. And I hope they find something to do with him so he can end his career on a really positive and exciting note here. So maybe this is the beginning of it. Let's hope.
He'll finish up with Kenny Omega in AEW when Kenny Omega's feeling better. Just joking. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not super excited about this match, but it's a match that they both need to be good.
Yeah. So
all right.
From there, let's carry on and let's go to the United States Championship, where it is a triple threat match between Randy Orton, the Viper, Kevin Owens, and everybody's favorite YouTuber, Logan Paul. I'm going with Logan Paul in this.
Me too. The U.S. title does not do much for Kevin Owens or Randy Orton, and it's still something for Logan Paul to tout. And I think maybe he does lose to LA Knight eventually. But, Logan Paul's going to win this one cheating and doing whatever kind of nefarious thing. Maybe have his jerk off sidekick on his YouTube channel show up again.
Yeah.
KRS-One. I'm just kidding. KRS-One's a great rapper. I don't know who that guy was. But like I said, the U.S. title does nothing for Randy Orton at this point in time. Doesn't do a lot for Kevin Owens either. Kevin Owens would be my second guy to do it, but I don't know. I think Logan Paul retains.
Yeah, I think so too, and it'll be a good match. I think there'll probably be, especially the minds that are involved there. Owens loves to have these moments. He tends to jump off something sort of high, and Logan Paul is definitely willing to do so as well. And you got the Viper there. There's going to be this match will be worth the price of admission, I'd say for sure. And but again, I don't think there's going to be anybody that's beating Logan Paul for the time being. And however, you might see on the Monday Night Raw, Logan Paul appears. Or actually, he's more SmackDown, right? So it'd be the first SmackDown, and then LA Knight challenges him there. So that would be a good start of their program, I would think.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but we're with you. Logan Paul.
Yeah. Next up, how could you have an event in the city of Philadelphia without a Philadelphia street fight, Mr. Valli?
Jesus Christ. It's the match that they're going to give either 5 minutes to or 20 minutes to, depending on how the rest of the card goes. That's that match is.
Oh, man.
I was like, okay, right. We can do whatever with you three, so we're going to keep you there. Yeah. In fact, you might even get bumped. Fuck it. Which has happened.
So and you have Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits against Karrion Kross's Final Testament. Ugh. Yeah.
I took the Pride just because they needed a lot more because they've been booked so poorly.
And I took them as well. Yeah,
God damn it. So I lost. I lost. As long as Gunther retains, I'm screwed. Bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think the Pride has been
cares, right?
Just,
at this point.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, they need this. So, just putting it out there, I think Lashley, Montez Ford, and Dawkins, they get their moment. And that's where I'm going to is Pride.
All right. And so now, Vladi Dottie, the time has come. We have one match left, correct?
We have two.
Never mind. I fucked that up. The time hasn't come. Go ahead. You're next.
So we got.
Oh, I forgot the women's SmackDown. Yeah.
Yes. This is what happens when you view the world through misogynistic eyes. I'm just kidding. WWE's Women's Championship match. We got Bayley, the challenger, versus none other than Io Sky.
I'm surprised. Are you sure this is the definitive order? Because I'm surprised they would do Bayley, Io, and then into the Cody Roman match. I thought they would switch it up. That's where my head was. I thought I saw that was the order, but either way, it doesn't matter. Bayley's going to win this one. I feel like, just because it's been such an in-depth story that hasn't really taken off as much as they'd like. But Bayley deserves it. She was pretty much playing second fiddle to everybody in Damage Control, even though she was the leader. This is the time she's going to get her moment. This long orchestrated storyline comes to fruition, and Bail gets her championship win at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I'm very happy for her. I think it's going to be a cool moment for her as well. I mean, she's been tried and true, if you will, from NXT, and to have the ability to go against a performer like Io Sky, even though I would say the storyline maybe is lost in the sauce in ways, because especially with The Rock being there. But even with that being said, I'm looking forward for Bayley having her moment, and she deserves it. So we'll see where things go from there after she hopefully wins.
Yeah, Bayley.
Yeah. Now here we are.
The moment we have all been waiting for since a year ago, when 80,000 people were collectively kicked directly into the genitals when Cody Rhodes didn't finish his story. Lottie Dottie set this up. The main event, WrestleMania, Night 2. Go for it.
We have none other than Cody Rhodes locking horns with Roman Reigns, who's been nothing short of a powerhouse for thousands of days at this point. It's what it feels like, anyways.
Well, he was a powerhouse till his cousin showed up and started basically taking up all the spotlight where he becomes an afterthought.
Yeah, and it's incredible. I don't know if I've ever seen this with a world champion before, but I definitely saw it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hinging on what happens on the previous night, but you and I both believe that bloodline rules will be involved, which means that everybody will be there.
Rikishi's going to come out. Samu. They're going to bring Pops out with a bad back. It's going to be great.
Yeah, Rikishi's got to come out to the Too Cool music. He's dancing down. He's like Jeff Hardy debuting on AEW. So we have these two guys going at it. Cody is trying to finish his story, finally do it. Hopefully we're avoiding a rubber chicken moment in the ring again. And I'm going to go and I'm going to say, because I was one of those guys who last year when you contacted me the day after and just the thoughts of Cody not winning, I'm like, well, maybe they're going to do something from here. Like, I'm trying to justify it. I got to say, I'm a big fan of Triple H, but if Cody doesn't win on Sunday night and actually finish this story, I don't know what, there's no way I would be able to defend him. So I'm going to say Cody. He gets the moment finally. We're going to see Brandy there. We're going to probably see their child there, their daughter there. We might even see Pharaoh there. We might even see Pharaoh
are going to be front row. They're going to have a dog front row just because it's Pharaoh.
Yeah. So this is what I envision. And who can forget Mama Rhodes?
Mama Rhodes. And her last name's not even Rhodes, by the way. It's Michelle Rubio. For Christ's sake.
To the final boss, it's Mama Rhodes.
Mama Rhodes. Your mama. I'm going to give this to your mama. Mama.
And you got to love the way The
Rock's
Rock
mom, The Rock's grandmother, rather, made the Hall of Fame. I didn't even heard of her. I didn't know she was a big part of it.
Huge in Hawaii, man.
How did Coco Beware make the Hall of Fame, but Psycho Sid didn't? Can anyone explain that to me?
I think Sid kind of like rubbed some people the wrong way. Things I've heard.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
So, and Coco, did what Coco needed to do, and he got in the Hall of Fame. There you go.
He had a bird. Anytime you have a bird, you make the Hall of Fame.
Frankie.
Everybody knows that.
Frankie.
And he had a bird when he was with him in the Hall of Fame, but I don't know if it was Frankie. I wonder how many Frankies he's gone through. I don't know how long the birds last.
He's probably got a whole freezer full of them. So, and here's another note we have to make. This is the first main event at WrestleMania without a lecherous, out of touch CEO by the name of Vince McMahon.
He was a chairman of the board as well. He was everything. He was everything WWE. And good riddance. He sucked for the last decade. I'm more offended by how bad he was as a booker the last decade than I was with anything he's done in the courts. We could have had Sting and the Undertaker, you douchebag. We could have had AJ Styles and John Cena for the world championship, but you made Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt the championship match with a bunch of bugs flying on it. You are terrible, Vince McMahon. Good riddance to bad rubbish.
It's spooky. I'll be watching on Peacock. Rest assured.
Peacock. Watching a Peacock. Oh, my Peacock.
Laryngitis, do you want to FaceTime WrestleMania this weekend with me?
Young old times.
Me, you, will call a couple randos. What do you say?
Make sure I could shit on the pits. I can't believe Punk verbatim said shitting on people. Was that him? Somebody said they brought up the actual act of him shitting on people.
Yeah, he said he shit on people. Like, I'm like, oh, he said it.
He might be a very selfish, possibly narcissistic cat, but he does not. He speaks his truth, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
I admire him
he's
for that. I do admire him.
Dude, he's fascinating. It's just like that old 2 hours was fascinating to me.
I gotta go
So,
watch it. I might watch that instead of WrestleMania Night 1.
so who's your choice here, man?
Well, to your point
Yeah.
that you were saying, I don't think it's feasible to pick Roman Reigns here because, again, you have taken everybody on this long of a ride. We can't wait another year. It would be breaking a lot of momentum of Cody. Cody would actually, your next face would be in trouble of being the next face. And maybe that's not what you want at this point in time. I don't know. Maybe it's still Roman. Roman's only 38. He's talking about he's going to be around for a long time. But I think Roman needs to lose this match with everybody invested talking about this story. The story was a big deal last year, but nothing like we're seeing this year. Jimmy Fallon's talking about his story.
Yep.
And you brought people up for so long. You have to make the payoff worth it. And it would be just a straight, not only, like I said in the previous podcast, it's not only going to be a kick in the balls, it'd be a kick in the balls with a spike toe if Cody Rhodes doesn't win this match. Now, how is it going to happen? We talked about it. Please check out one of our last episodes, our last videos where Vladi, you brought it up and we talked about the possibility of what we think can happen. We'll set it again. We'll do it one more time. Cody has Roman beat. In comes Jimmy. Maybe not Jimmy because he might be doing something with Jay, but here comes Solo. Here comes whoever else within the bloodline. And then finally,
Cena.
Yeah, whatever. Well, whoever from the bloodline. And then you start seeing the reinforcements for Cody start showing up. Are we going to have Cena? I don't know. Are we going to have Seth Rollins come back? I don't know. But the big question is, are we going to have the greatest rivalry in the history of The Rock's career? The Texas rattlesnake himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin, running back that Mick Foley run-in where there was the greatest pop, arguably in WWE history, if not at least WWE Raw history, when Stone Cold came down and helped Mick Foley, Mankind, beat who? A member of the Bloodline, The Rock, prior to their big WrestleMania 15 first match. That is the kind of thing that we can see. That is the kind of thing that can happen. That's palpable. But I don't believe Triple H. I think Triple H knew he was going to do this last year, and I think that's why the loss happened. There's no way Triple H does it again because, frankly, Cody wouldn't be able to recover. Then again, we said that last year. We said it maybe last year. But what I said last year, if you remember, I said, if Cody doesn't win this year, if they don't build his momentum back where everyone's talking about and everyone's behind him, then they blew it. Well, folks, like I said before, Triple H pulled it off. Cody pulled it off. The fans love Cody and everyone's invested in this story. So there is no damn way Cody Rhodes walks out of Philadelphia without the Universal Undisputed World Championship. The WWE Undisputed Champion. Is that it? Just it? Is that what we're doing?
I think so.
The undisputed WWE champion, Cody Rhodes, will walk out and he finally finishes his story and give his mother that world championship belt. And the Roman Reigns empire, for the time being, crumbles. And I think a big part of that is going to be followed up with some dissension between the final boss and the head of the table on the following SmackDown. That's what I'm predicting. But my pick, ladies and gentlemen, the American Nightmare, the founder of AEW, he finally gets, and his family finally get, that big championship win that they always wanted, and Cody is your winner as he finishes the story. Or not.
If it goes that way, it'll be epic, especially if Stone Cold's involved. And if Stone Cold is involved, and this is like a sort of callback to the Attitude Era, that particular match is cinema. And imagine at the end there, in the celebration, you got whoever went and helped Cody celebrate that victory, along with Stone Cold, Cena, and you have Stone Cold Cena drinking beers with Dusty Rhodes' son in the main event of WrestleMania as he's holding the world belt. Like that it's epic, you know? And then him also having those moments with his mother, his wife, his daughter, I do have a question for you. When they put the camera on Brandy, what's the crowd reaction going to be?
I think she gets cheered in WWE because the indie the AEW gatekeepers, indie marks are the ones that hated her. I mean, she was booed as a babyface in AEW. I don't think the WWE universe, particularly in that moment when you got people like Roman Reigns on screen and The Rock and the rest of the bloodline on screen, I don't think she takes any of their heat away. I think they cheer. And also, she's been off screen for a long time. So WWE fans also didn't see her in her heel run and didn't see her suck, quote unquote, so bad.
Right. Yeah.
So I think she'll get a nice reaction, but not a big one.
Yeah. I agree. So I'm just checking in with you on that. But yeah, overall, again, as I mentioned, if Cody wins this and has the ability to celebrate with that entire crew of people that helped him,
he's going to be drinking the Stone Cold Pale Ales that he dropped off for Stone Cold on Easter.
Yep, exactly.
If any of you don't know what we're talking about, because I didn't see a lot of people bring this up on the internet.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, really weird post for Steve Austin, not something he would do. Apparently, somebody dropped off an Easter basket with beer, with Stone Cold Steve Austin's beer. And the ironic thing is it's Stone Cold's beer. I think he has plenty of that. But anyway, somebody dropped off a little basket for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Apparently, whoever it was, they left it off, pressed, and to quote Steve, rang the doorbell and hauled ass. So Steve has no idea who dropped off that Easter basket. Is it possible, with Cody doing all the goodwill, kissing babies, showing up in weddings, coming to a kid's birthday, is it possible he was able to drop off, like the Easter Bunny himself, a big, nice present for Stone Cold, to maybe coax Stone Cold to show up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania this Sunday? Wow.
I mean, if that's all it takes to bribe him, more power to Cody.
Mark, put some damn zeros on that kid. Better make a check. I'll go dropping people on their damn necks on a stack of dimes just like that. I'll get the payday, and that's the bottom line.
What's going to be priceless if that glass breaks is The Rock's expression.
It'll be very similar to that expression he had in Mankind.
Yes.
Like the eyes bugging way out. It's going to be incredible. Whatever they're planning, it's going to be incredible, and I'm really looking forward to it. I have a lot of faith in Triple H, and that's the difference between what we're feeling now, what we're feeling 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, in the prior decade or so, is that we didn't have faith. And I went back and watched Vladi, some of the WrestleManias of the last 5 or 6 years. There were some terrible cards in comparison to the one we have here, at least on the top. I mean, you got Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar one time when nobody cared about. The Roman Reigns Triple H match nobody cared about. The Undertaker Roman Reigns match, which was dog shit. There's a lot of bad Roman Reigns in WrestleMania, folks. I don't want to be a dick about it. But that run when he was anointed the champion and anointed the face and he was just not good at his job yet, those are some bad times.
Yeah.
But he righted the ship and so did WWE, clearly. So we're in good shape there.
And now he's going to be hitting. He's going to get hit by some hard times. See what I did there?
I do. We're going to learn you about some hard times. The Rock, though, and Roman Reigns was on Jimmy Fallon, and The Rock alluded to Roman, there can only be one. We got the tribal chief and the final boss, and they kind of alluded to a match between the two. But I didn't know the context, but I'm telling you, there will be dissension between The Rock and Roman Reigns, the very latest, the SmackDown after WrestleMania.
Yeah, my thinking is The Rock and Roman get into it. Roman blames The Rock somehow or another. Rock blames Roman. And then the intriguing thing that'll be is what's going on with Jimmy, Solo, and or Jay.
Or Tama Tonga.
And that's the thing. If they don't see The Rock bringing reinforcements that are sort of connected to the bloodline themselves, and then they take them out, and say if they quote unquote injure Roman or something, take him out, and you have one true, the final boss, and he's basically ruling with an iron fist, trying to get that world title back and hunting Cody. But in the same breath, he's also making life miserable for Solo and Jimmy. at the very least.
Solo's going to be a baby face within the next couple months. Just because the reaction he's getting, the fact he's a stand-up guy, he's the enforcer, very similar to Roman's role in the Shield initially.
Yeah,
but he's a good dude. He's not just talking shit. He's not nefarious.
Yeah.
He just backs up his family. So Solo's really popular. We got to see what kind of promos he can cut and how entertaining he can be. But I'm with you. I think Solo might be the guy in at least this version of the Bloodline for a hot second. I don't know what they're going to call themselves, but we'll see.
Yeah. So that then following night should be incredible, and then because Rock has just lost his shit at this point, man. He is just cursing, doing whatever the hell he wants. He's whipping the referee with the weight belt, like he just doesn't give a shit. And I don't particularly think that he's going to go and accept losing.
Look, we got to see what happens. The Rock has said Cody and he are going to be linked. Yeah. So that tells me that's a long-term thing between Cody and The Rock.
Yeah.
And again, we know we're going to get Roman and The Rock at next year's WrestleMania. At least we think it anyway.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they have something massive, absolutely incredible planned for the finish of this main event. And I don't think he sends 90,000 or 80,000 people home miserable again like he did last year.
Yeah, it's going to be a different vibe. Hey, any chance that Dustin is there in the crowd? Front row.
Maybe. Brian Cage just showed up on Drew McIntyre's TikTok.
Was that him when they were lifting weights?
Yeah, he's like,
okay,
let the beast out of the cage, and then Cage wound up spotting him. And Cage said, CM Punk never lifted something like this. Exact words. Brian Cage apparently doesn't like CM Punk either. Another one.
It's funny, man. It's funny like how it's like he's cross promotions with his heel work, meaning McIntyre.
Oh, it's great. And and what the funny part is, Brian Cage, where does he work? AEW? Right, and who's he throwing shade at?
Yeah.
It's funny how this crazy world of professional wrestling. So to your point, I don't think so. I do not think so. However, it would be really nice if Tony let him be there. I mean, he can't do anything if he's front row, but I hope so, because Dustin deserves to be there. But the thing is, if Dustin's there, they're going to want him to get involved, and he might not want to be there front row. I mean, I think he will be there no matter what. His brother's winning the championship. I think he's going to be there. But I don't think he's going to be front row, because then the want for him to get involved physically will be there. And he can't say, oh, I can't get involved because I'm not under contract when someone's beating up your brother. So that would be my thing. Dustin probably wouldn't want it unless Tony gave him the okay to do it, which you would love it to do. And Cody came out and defended Tony Khan this past, I believe, yesterday or the day before. Or I'm sorry, today or the day, I guess it would be yesterday or the day before, because it's airing tomorrow. But Cody said he doesn't agree with CM Punk's assessment that Tony Khan is a clown and does Adderall lines off of Sky Blue's feet. Cody Rhodes disagreed with that assessment. Or whatever CM Punk said. I forget exactly what he said, but Cody Rhodes didn't agree with his assessment of AEW, for sure. And the other thing, too, by the way, Cody and Roman only the second time in the history to ever have back-to-back main events. So for two guys to have back-to-back main events, the only other time was, remember the Anoa'i Bloodline, of course, The Rock and John Cena back-to-back years. But at least this time, it's two guys that are there all year, opposed to, that was just kind of, both of those were shoehorned just to get the impact of having The Rock and Cena. But this is a little bit different, because this is more like a Stone Cold Rock thing where these two guys are still doing the work. I know what everyone's saying. Roman only works 5 days a year. The fact remains the guy has leukemia, and he's still telling some of the best stories on the planet. So, yeah, there's lulls sometimes, but it's been incredible what Roman has done. And don't forget, folks, Roman was the only good thing on WWE television for like a year. Yeah. Especially during the pandemic era. So.
Yeah, well, the whole thing, and also, even beyond a little bit beyond the pandemic era, when he had the run with Sammy being a part of it, that was like the peak almost of like what was going on with the Bloodline. So
definitely was the peak for Sammy. He hasn't caught any of that momentum back.
No, he hasn't. And but now, with The Rock playing the final boss here, It looks like we might be starting a new chapter. Even Heyman mentioned that they're constantly rewriting the ending. So, what you're going to probably do is end the Bloodline chapter with Roman and Cody, and then it's going to be Cody and Rock and whatever Rock is throwing at Cody's way.
I don't like how open they are being about production and stuff. And that's why I kind of appreciated Cody when he was on Ariel Helwani. Ariel said, "Hey, when did you find out you were losing?" I don't like questions like that. Like, you can talk about certain things that are in the past, but, like years prior or what have you. But Cody did a good job, but he's like, I'm going to keep it the way I usually do it. And he said, "Surely you knew before the match started." And he said, "Not surely. Not surely." And he said, "Not," and I don't know. I think he was saying he's not Shirley. Like, don't call me Shirley.
Shirley.
But Ariel Helwani kept on asking him, and Cody said I didn't know until I got that spear. So I appreciate when fans do that, when wrestlers do that. You don't have to pull the curtain back all the way all the time, folks, with these shoot interviews, because it really takes away some of the magic of what we're trying to watch on screen, which is the important part. Everyone always wants to hear spoilers, and I think you sent me a text earlier with possible spoilers, and there's rumors and Meltzer saying what card is and what's happening and when it's going on and all that. I kind of want some of the allure of what they're doing on screen to maintain, but with today's day and age with social media and everyone just wanting to get their clicks, it's very hard to do. So I appreciate when wrestlers do the kayfabe thing. MJF, we see him do it. Eddie Kingston does it. Cody's doing it to a certain extent. Even Roman's doing it to a certain extent. I rather that than people, "Oh, well, I actually knew right before I was about to go out there, Triple H said I was losing," right before this epic battle that he lost. So I like that they're kind of keeping some of the allure there, because that's when the magic happens.
No, it's a good point for sure, man. So yeah, I'm with you. So it should be a great weekend for sure. And this is, again, it should be almost like it is a wrestling fans holiday for sure. So enjoy it.
2 days now.
Yep.
And it's good. So it hasn't been good in a long time, which is the cool part.
Yeah.
All right, Vladi, I guess we got everything we had a lot of videos out. Want to thank all our new subscribers and all the new listeners on Spotify and everywhere you listen to your podcast. But thank you to the new subscribers on YouTube, all the new people signing up for our Facebook page and our Facebook group. High Spots and Cheap Pops. You can see it right over there next to Vladi's name. Vladi, it's right here. Right there. Well, whatever. Vladi knows where it is. It's in the lower right-hand corner. That's where you see High Spots and Cheap Pops.
Yep.
Pro Wrestling fan page. Sign up, interact with us. We want to get you involved. Vladi Dottie, anything else about this weekend? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm definitely good. So enjoy it, everybody, and good luck, Cody.
Finish the story. For Vladi Dottie, this is Silicon Steve Valley for High Spots and Cheap Pops. Have a great time, Wrestlemania 40, and here endeth the lesson.